You know, one thing I'm really going to miss about college baseball is all the trash talk that happens in the locker rooms and in the dugouts. You couldn't survive unless you had thick skin. For instance, I tell Hammerly that he's fat and sloppy because he throws up every time we run. And then he'd tell me that my fastball is pathetic because it only hits 85 miles an hour. So, touche. Welcome to Rumble Book Club. I'm your host, Mike Hernandez, and this is the show where a normal guy like me can talk about cool books he's read, old and new, good and bad. So if you like the show, you like the content, you like the books that I talk about, or maybe you're just a fan of the game as well and trash talking, you've come to the right place, my friend. You can follow us all across social media and subscribe right down below. Hit that little bell to let you know when the next video is coming out. And also, in the description below the video, you'll find out how you can actually more specifically help the show, provide books and lighting, sound, all this stuff to make this ramshackle organization keep going. All right, friends, today we're going to take a look at an awesome book that I finished reading. It took me about a month to read because it's so informationally dense, and I'm also really slow at reading. But I'm finally back with a new video. Today we're going to take a look at The Mental Game of Baseball by H.A. Dorfman and Karl Kuehl. In this book, Dorfman uses his personal experience working with professional and non-professional athletes, specifically in baseball, but even outside of baseball itself, as well as his meticulous research in the field of sports psychology in general, to discuss crucial mental frameworks that allow athletes to perform at their maximum capacity. Looking at the aesthetics, it's very textbook-like. It's printed very similar to a book called The Mental ABCs of Pitching, which I also did a review of, also by H.A. Dorfman. Very academic in its appearance. And the visual here, these three different colored baseballs, is actually a reference to a drill about visualization in which he has a chapter just for that. So it's actually really interesting, and you can actually use this cover as kind of part of your own visualization, as part of your own drill that's implemented in the book. Looking at the readability, even though Dorfman is talking about sports psychology and in general the mental aspect of the game, you might think it's a lot more dry reading, and at certain parts it is. He does make it very accessible to people that might not be the most academically stellar. They might just be your average Joe high school ball player that's trying to read this to get a little better, or your average pro athlete that's maybe struggling a little bit in the farm system and he's trying to figure out how to climb that ladder and get to the show. So he makes it very accessible, very easy to read, very straightforward. He addresses you in the same way a coach might talk to you on the bench after a game about these mental frameworks. So it's very common sense. He approaches these sometimes very deep concepts and approaches them in a very common sense manner, so it makes for much easy reading. He also makes the page breaks, paragraph breaks relatively simple. He adds little visuals and cartoons and cues that allow your mind to kind of go back and forth between heavy reading, heavy concept reading, and then something a little bit lighter like a comic, like a Peanuts comic by Charles Schulz, or like a visual that's a little bit comical. So as far as the readability goes, I'm going to give it a very strong score of 8 out of 10. Now let's talk about the content. Dorfman introduces us first to the importance of goals, being able to set a target in the future, and also how to create a long-term goals, short-term goals, and also to come to the understanding of what goals you can control in order to lead up to your ultimate goal, which you might not be able to control every aspect. For instance, if there's a batter that wants to hit 300 by the end of a season, well, he can control a lot of that, but he can't necessarily control 100% of that. There are things such as bad calls, great plays in the field that he might not be able to control, but he can control the different steps he takes to prepare and give himself the optimal opportunity to reach that ultimate goal of hitting north of 300. Dorfman breaks up the book into different chapters, each chapter designated to a particular mental aspect of the game that players would do well to implement into their careers. So for instance, he has a chapter dedicated just to the importance of preparation, not just physically, but also mentally, how you can be productive even when you're not physically doing anything. Even when you're lying in bed long after the lights have turned off on the field, you can sit there and prepare for your next role by researching players that you're about to face. If you're a hitter, researching pitchers you're about to face, seeing how a fastball or a curveball would enter, having the importance of visualization in your mind, being able to visualize what's expected of you, how you're going to execute, visualizing past success leading to future success, and also how preparation is a key to having confidence, which he designates an entire chapter just to the importance of confidence, how great players will become mediocre and even poor players if they don't have the confidence confidence and commitment in their actions. If you're a pitcher and you don't have the confidence of releasing that fastball, then it's going to have nowhere near the effectiveness of if you just throw it with full confidence and full aggression. So it's better that you take the wrong pitch and throw it with full confidence and 100% trust in your pitch than it is to use the right pitch but have no confidence in it. Hitters can see it, the rest of the crowd can see it, your coaches can see it, and you can feel it afterwards, more importantly. Another chapter that I think is vital to introduce is mental discipline, or as it's known by Vince Lombardi, mental toughness, the ability to take a single goal and focus on it with a singular mindset and to express any other distractions that could sidetrack you from that goal. So mental discipline is absolutely crucial to an athlete who wants to be mentally effective and physically effective in the game. I can't tell you how valuable this book could be to any athlete that picks it up, not just baseball players, but the overall mental concepts that he discusses in the book are applicable to any athlete of any sport. As far as the content goes, it is pure gold. I rank the content as a strong 10 out of 10. I found this book at Barnes & Noble. You can find it on Amazon and order it. I believe they have a new printing, which might not have this cover. I know they did so for the mental ABCs of pitching. I don't know if they have it for the mental game of baseball, but you can find it on Amazon. Search it up. It is a fantastic book. I highly recommend it to any athlete of any field that wants to be the absolute best that they possibly can be. The book is The Mental Game of Baseball by Dorfman and Karl. Go out and get yourself a copy. Thanks for watching, everybody. And go read something.